So that was the first International Mayapur Festival in 1974. And the GBC met. It was at that meeting that Prabhupada put me in the GBC, actually, in 1974. But when Prabhupada wrote the letter announcing there would be there would be a meeting in Mayapur, Gaur Purnima 74, and that would become an annual custom, he said the GBC should meet with other senior devotees. So Prabhupada's consent, we have to remember something. In Prabhupada's last will and testament, he said the GBC is the ultimate managing authority. They are managers. Now, some of those managers are also gurus, or also sannyas, whatever. Many of them are nice devotees. But as GBC, they're managers. They're managers as GBC. And so, for example, you live in Denmark. So you're not anarchists, you're not lawbreakers. You live in Denmark, you follow the law, you stop at the red light and go at the green light. But you may not agree with some of the things the government does. So in the same way, I believe a healthy relationship with the GBC would be that, number one, you accept that this is Prabhupada's system, and it's obviously the best system. So I accept that. Yes, this is Prabhupada's system. As far as the current members of the GBC, yes, I accept they are the legitimate government of ISKCON. To be legitimate and to be expert are not always the same thing. The government may be legitimate, but it may not be expert. Yeah. Now, I don't think it's offensive if I take a hard look at what they're doing. I'm not challenging Prabhupada's system. I'm not an anarchist. I'm not a lawbreaker. But I am a rational adult. And I can look and I can see that Prabhupada, for example, emphasized that the GBC should not merely manage, but should lead the preaching. So is the preaching expanding in the Western world? I can ask that question. So we should follow Vaishnava etiquette. It's not okay to offend Vaishnavas, GBC members. It's not an easy job. And so we follow Vaishnava etiquette. We are good citizens of ISKCON, but we are also rational adults. And it's actually okay to think. Some leaders, I don't know, there may be some leaders who think that, no, I'll think and you just follow. But that's a society of Shudras. Prabhupada didn't get on the boat and come to America to create a society of Shudras where they don't think, the leader thinks for them. Prabhupada came to start a society of Brahmins. A Brahmin is peaceful, a Brahmin is cooperative, but a Brahmin thinks. A Brahmin is not a Shudra that just, okay, tell me what to think. I mean, Prabhupada said himself, there are many Shudras that join the Hare Krishna movement. And their attitude is, tell me what to think. To think doesn't mean that we go on the internet and insult everyone and cause trouble. It just means that we think. And for example, devotees, adults, we're talking about adult human beings. They have every right in the world to look at the way certain things are being done and to question and ask, is that the best way to do it? And if you have a society where no one's allowed to think that way, or people are discouraged from thinking, you're going to get a very strange society. So again, we're good citizens, we accept Prabhupada's system, but we are also adults. And we think, and we look, and we may conclude that actually there could be a better way to do this. So it's not that, even guru-disciple, I somehow or other, I have that service of being a guru, and I actually try to treat my disciples like adults when they are adults. I mean, for example, I'm doing Krishna West. And some of my disciples love it, and some of my disciples prefer to the traditional style. I never use my position as a guru to pressure a disciple to join Krishna West. I think that would be a misuse of my authority. Precisely because it is a deep, but there are gurus that pressure their disciples not to do Krishna West. And so, again, I think I'm actually, at least in this, maybe not in everything, but at least in this, I think I'm setting a good example. I respect the right of my disciples to be adults, to be adult human beings. And, I'm not going to interfere in their family life. I'm not going to tell them you can't go to college, which is like, oh my God. I'm a guru, you can't go to college. So if you end up the rest of your life in a Shudra job and can't really educate your own children, don't worry, it's Vedic culture. So I think we really need to think carefully about what is legitimate exercise of authority in ISKCON. Again, I'm not going to the other extreme. I know there is another extreme. I'm not an anarchist. I understand, what we have to cooperate to keep. I know all these things. So but I'm simply saying we need a culture of leadership where adults are treated like adults, even if they're not big donors. Adults are treated like adults, and communities meet and they decide or they discuss the most appropriate way, the most effective way to spread Krishna consciousness in their area.